Imagine giving up everything you've worked for, your home, your savings, even your dignity, all in the name of love. Now imagine that the person you gave it all to was never really in love with you. This is the chilling story of a 55-year-old American woman who thought she had found her soulmate in a 26-year-old Nigerian man. But what started as a fairy tale romance ended in a nightmare that still haunts her today. Her name was Susan Miller, a 55-year-old retired schoolteacher from Ohio. Widowed for nearly a decade, she spent her days quietly, scrolling through Facebook groups, chatting with old friends, and posting photos of her garden. But Susan was lonely. Nights were the hardest. She often sat by the window with a glass of wine, thinking about how her life had become predictable, empty. Then, one evening, a message popped up in her inbox. It was from Emeka, a 26-year-old Nigerian man. His profile picture showed a tall, handsome young man with a warm smile, dressed sharply in a suit. At first, Susan laughed. Why would a man this young, this attractive, message me? She thought. But his first words disarmed her. Hi Susan, I don't know why, but your smile touched my heart. I hope I'm not disturbing you. It seemed innocent, friendly. Days turned into weeks, and Susan found herself waiting for Emeka's messages. He was attentive, always asking how her day was, always complimenting her. He called her Queen. He told her she was more beautiful than women his own age. He even learned about her late husband, and told her, "You deserve love again. God brought me to you." And the more he spoke, the more Susan believed him. Her friends noticed she was glowing again. She lost weight, dyed her hair, and even bought new clothes. She was acting like a woman in her 20s again. And when Emeka finally video called her, she was stunned. There he was, handsome, smiling, real. The age difference seemed to vanish. Within 6 months, Emeka told Susan the words she longed to hear. I love you. I want to spend my life with you. Susan cried that night. No man had told her those words in years. But there was a problem. Emeka was in Nigeria, and Susan was in America. He said he wanted to come visit. But visas were hard. Flights were expensive. He told her he needed help. At first, it was small amounts. $200 for documents. $300 for processing fees. Then, $1,500 for medical clearance. And Susan paid. Every single time. Her savings began to shrink. But every time she hesitated, Emeka would send long voice notes, his deep voice trembling. Baby, if you stop helping me, we may never be together. Don't let them win. Don't let the world keep us apart. Finally, Emeka convinced Susan to fly to Lagos. She told no one, not even her grown daughter. When she landed, Emeka was waiting. Tall, broad-shouldered, smelling of cologne, smiling wide. Susan's heart nearly burst. He kissed her hand in the airport and whispered, "Welcome home, my wife." Within weeks, they had a small ceremony. Pictures of them in traditional Nigerian attire flooded Susan's Facebook page. Her American friends were shocked. Some whispered behind her back. Others warned her. But Susan didn't care. She had never felt so alive, so wanted. For the first time in decades, she felt like she mattered. If you're still watching right now, you're probably as shocked as Susan's friends were. But trust me, this story gets even darker. Before I continue, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because stories like this, they happen more often than you think. After the wedding, Susan returned to Ohio, now proudly calling herself Mrs. Miller Okafor. Emeka stayed back in Nigeria, promising he would join her soon. But only if she could send him just a little more money to finalize paperwork. Weeks passed. Then months. The money requests didn't stop, and the excuses piled up. When Susan's daughter confronted her, she lashed out. "You're just jealous because I found love again," she snapped. But inside, Susan was starting to feel a shadow creeping in. Why wasn't he coming? Why was the money never enough? One night, Susan received a strange message on Facebook. It was from another woman. The message said, "Hi Susan. I don't know how to tell you this, but you're not the only one. Emeka is also my husband." Susan's hands shook as she read it. Could it be true? Was everything a lie? She dialed Emeka's number. It rang and rang. Finally, he answered. But his voice was cold. "Why are you listening to strangers? Don't you trust me?" The screen froze. The call ended, and Susan was left staring at her reflection in the black glass of her phone, realizing she might not be the only Mrs. Okafor. Susan couldn't sleep. That message, "You're not the only one," echoed in her head all night. The next morning, she confronted Emeka again. But this time, his tone was sharp. "Baby, don't insult me. You know how jealous people are. They see us happy, they want to destroy it." He laughed it off. But Susan noticed something strange. Every time she asked direct questions, he changed the subject, or went offline. She wanted to believe him. She needed to believe him. After all, she had already sent him nearly $40,000. One day, Susan received a call from her bank. Her account was almost empty. She had been withdrawing, transferring, and wiring money so often that she didn't even notice. Her daughter, Emily, finally intervened. "Mom, this is insane. You don't even know if this man is real." But Susan snapped. "Don't you dare talk about him like that. He's my husband. You don't understand what it's like to be loved after so long." Tears rolled down Emily's face. "Mom, he's using you." But Susan hung up. She blocked her daughter's number. Love had made her blind. Over the next few months, Emeka's requests became urgent. He claimed he was being threatened by immigration officers. He said his family was in danger. He even told Susan he had been beaten by men who wanted money. And every time, his voice messages came with the same desperate plea. "If you really love me, you'll help me. Don't abandon me, Susan. Everyone else has abandoned me. Please, don't let me die." Susan's heart shattered every time. She sold her jewelry. She took out a loan. She even cashed out part of her retirement savings. Her once stable life was slipping away. If you're still here, you're probably screaming at the screen, asking why Susan didn't just walk away. But love, especially manipulated love, is one of the most powerful forces in the world. Before we continue, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone you know, because you never know who might be living through this exact nightmare. Things took a darker turn when Susan received an email from an unknown address. Attached was a photo of her and Emeka from their wedding. The message read, "If you don't send $10,000, we will expose you and your family. Everyone will know your shame." Susan froze. How did they get her photo? How did they know? She immediately forwarded it to Emeka. He replied within minutes. "Baby, don't worry. These are dangerous people in my country. They want to break us apart. Just send them what they want. I'll protect you." And she did. She wired the money. But the emails didn't stop. One night, Susan sat in her dark living room, bills scattered across the table. Her house was in foreclosure. Her credit cards were maxed out. She had nothing left. And still, Emeka's messages came. This time, colder. More demanding. "Baby, I need $5,000 right now or I'll be deported. Don't you want me to be with you? Don't you love me?" Her hands shook as she typed back. "I don't have anything left. I gave you everything." The reply came instantly. "Then sell the house. If you love me, you'll find a way." Susan's chest tightened. Was this really love? Or had she been blind the entire time? Meanwhile, Emily had been doing her own digging. She hired a private investigator. Within weeks, the truth came out. Emeka wasn't just married to Susan. He was married to at least 3 other women in America and Europe. Each one had been sending him money. Each one believed she was his queen. Emily confronted her mother with the evidence. Screenshots, photos, messages. But Susan refused to look. "No. That's not my Emeka. That's fake. You're lying," Emily screamed, sobbing. "Mom, he's scamming you. He's destroying you. You're going to lose everything." But Susan pushed the papers away and whispered, "I can't lose him. He's all I have left." Weeks later, Susan noticed Emeka calling less often. His messages became shorter. Sometimes, he disappeared for days. Then one day, he posted a photo on Facebook. It was him, with another young woman. The caption read, "My everything. My future." Susan felt her stomach drop. She called him dozens of times. No answer. Finally, he picked up. But his voice was ice. "Stop calling me. You're embarrassing yourself. We were never real. You were just useful." And then, silence. The line went dead. Susan collapsed on the floor, shaking. She had lost her money. She had lost her home. And now, she had lost the man she thought was her husband. But just when she thought the nightmare was over, another message appeared on her phone. It wasn't from Emeka. It was from an unknown number. The message said, "We know everything about you. If you go to the police, you won't live to regret it." Susan's blood ran cold. This wasn't just a romance scam anymore. It was something far more dangerous. After the last threatening message, "If you go to the police, you won't live to regret it," Susan's world fell into silence. She stopped answering the phone. She barely ate. She closed the blinds and locked every door, terrified that someone was watching. For the first time, Susan wasn't just heartbroken. She was afraid for her life. Emily returned one afternoon and found her mother sitting in the dark. "Mom," she whispered, "you can't live like this." Susan's voice cracked. "They know where I live. They said they'd hurt me. What if they're watching right now?" Emily squeezed her hand. "Mom, listen to me. This is how they keep you trapped. They make you afraid so you don't fight back. But we have to fight back." For a long moment, Susan stared at her daughter, then finally nodded. Together, they walked into the local police station. At first, Susan was embarrassed. How could she explain that she, a grown woman, a retired teacher, had fallen for something like this? But as soon as she said the name Emeka Okafor, the detective's face changed. "You're not the first," he said quietly. They pulled up a file. Inside were reports from at least 5 women across different states. Each had sent money. Each had received marriage proposals. And each had been left with nothing. Susan's stomach churned. Her Emeka wasn't hers at all. He was part of a large romance scam ring. If you're still watching right now, take a second to subscribe, because what you're about to hear next is the kind of chilling detail that no one talks about. And this case, it takes a terrifying turn. The FBI became involved. They explained to Susan that the scam was bigger than just Emeka. There were entire networks of young men in Nigeria, Ghana, and other countries, all working together. They stole photos, created fake profiles, and targeted lonely widows or divorcees in America and Europe. Some even went as far as marriage, just like Emeka had done to Susan, to secure even more money. And the threats. Those weren't empty. Investigators revealed that some of these scam rings had ties to violent groups. If victims reported them, they were often blackmailed or threatened into silence. Susan's heart sank deeper with every word. She wasn't just scammed. She had been trapped in a criminal web. When the story leaked to the local news, Susan's world collapsed again. Neighbors whispered. Her church friends stopped calling. Even her old colleagues from school avoided her. On Facebook, people mocked her. How could she be so stupid? She deserved it. Old women chasing young men, what do they expect? Susan cried for days. Not only had she lost her money, but her dignity, her reputation, her very identity. She had become the example of what not to do. One night, Emily came home to find Susan sitting in the bathtub, still dressed, staring blankly at the water. "I don't want to live anymore," Susan whispered. "They took everything from me. What's the point of waking up?" Emily knelt by the tub, sobbing. "Mom, you still have me. You still have a life. They don't get to win. Please, don't let them win." It was a breaking point. Susan checked herself into counseling. For the first time, she admitted the truth. She wasn't in love with Emeka. She was in love with the idea of being wanted again. Months later, while rebuilding her life, Susan received a letter. It was from Nigeria. At first, she was too afraid to open it. But curiosity won. Inside was a short handwritten note. "Susan, I'm sorry. I never meant for it to go this far. You were kind to me, more than anyone else has ever been. But I was desperate, and I needed money. Please forgive me. Emeka." Her hands shook as she read it. Was it real? Or just another manipulation? She would never know. But one thing was certain. Emeka had moved on. And she had to, too. Susan now lives in a small apartment, far from the home she once owned. She has no savings. She struggles every month to pay bills. But she is alive. She tells her story to women's groups, warning others of the dangers of online romance scams. And yet, late at night, she still finds herself scrolling through old photos. The wedding day. The smiles. The man who once called her queen. And sometimes, she wonders, did he ever love her at all? Or was every kiss, every promise, every "I love you" nothing more than a carefully rehearsed lie? She may never know the full truth. But she knows this. Love didn't just break her heart. It almost destroyed her life. And that's the end of Susan's story. A woman who gave everything for love, only to discover it was all a scam. But the scariest part? This isn't just her story. Thousands of women and men fall for these scams every year. If you made it this far, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone you love. Because the next victim could be someone you know. Love can heal. But in the wrong hands, it can kill.